You're listening to Sister Stargazers, celestial and terrestrial observations and advice from two real-life sisters. Welcome, fellow stargazers. Your sisters are in the house. Hi, Jude.
Hey, Sarah. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm pretty good. Oh, my gosh, I can't believe
Once again, I guess we need to get Siri her own podcast.
Oh, my God.
Well, that's totally fine. Welcome,
I said
Siri.
Sarah. I said Sarah, not Siri.
Well, that's all right. She's eager, excited for the week, as am I. This is episode 45, Sunday, July 17th through Saturday, July 23rd. A week you described as funnel squeezing, but it also seems to have some emotional quality. Where do you want to start?
Yeah,
there's a lot going on this week.
We're kind of counting down towards the end of the month. We're in the middle of the month, but I've been looking at the end of the month with this triple conjunction of Mars, Uranus, and North Node at 18 degrees of Taurus. But until we get there, and that's kind of a momentous occasion. There's just a lot of power, squeezed into that little section of Taurus.
Yeah.
But until we get there, we've got this dreamy part of the week that opens up with a lot of aspects happening in the element of water. So we have the moon in Pisces, which is a very emotional, very, very deep feeling. Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. It's the collective unconscious. It's the vast unknown. It's the deep waters of the ocean. That's Pisces. And the moon in Pisces is very emotional there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like a moon in any other water sign, only much deeper. It's much deeper and has much more width and breadth. And you think about that when you are at the beach and you look out and there's just water, for as far as you can see.
Yeah.
And that's that whole idea of that emotionality, that breadth of that is all imagining the impossible, or the possible. And so you have Mercury Trine Neptune, which is in Pisces, big imagination, incredible access to inspiring ideas that have been, kind of bubbling up from below.
Yeah.
The sun will also trine Neptune in Pisces. Now the sun and Mercury are in Cancer. So you have this water to water trine. So sun and Mercury in Cancer, water sign, and then trine Neptune in Pisces, which is a water sign. So it's again, this incredible inspiration, kind of welling up. We also have on Sunday, the 17th, Venus moves into Cancer. So again, more water.
My gosh.
Venus coming out of Gemini, where she's one of the esoteric rulers of Gemini. And she's now moving into a water sign, which is all so touchy-feely.
Yeah.
And then you have the moon, which was also in Pisces earlier in the day. It now sweeps into 25 degrees Pisces, so it conjuncts Neptune as well.
Wow.
And then you have the moon trine the sun. So you have all of this stuff happening, making aspects to Neptune.
Yeah.
The sun, Mercury, the moon, all making aspects to Neptune on Sunday the 17th. And then you have Venus moving into the water sign of Cancer. So it's a very emotional time.
Yeah.
There may be information that kind of wells up.
Yeah.
There may be pieces of the puzzle that you've been working on, metaphorically or physically, that start to come together, and you're feeling your way through this experience.
Yeah.
There might be also some echoes to a situation or information that came up at the time of the full moon on the 13th.
Okay.
And I'm just saying this because the moon was opposite the sun.
Right.
The moon was in Capricorn, and the moon made an aspect to Pluto.
Okay.
At this time, the next day, Monday the 18th and Tuesday the 19th, Mercury then opposes Pluto.
Okay.
So Mercury in Cancer opposes Pluto. The sun has now moved into a position where it exactly opposes Pluto.
Yep.
So at the time of the full moon on the 13th, the moon was just about within conjunction of Pluto in Capricorn. The sun over in the opposite sign of Cancer was opposing Pluto, but a wide opposition. It wasn't applying. It was coming into the opposition. Now on the 19th, you have the sun opposite Pluto. And then you have Mercury moving into Leo.
Okay.
So you've got these two personal planets changing sign. You've got Venus on Sunday moving into Cancer. And then on Tuesday, the 19th, you've got Mercury moving into Leo. So these are different modalities, different ways of operating. So you might find that your feeling nature, that your sense of sensitivity to beauty and to aesthetics or to appreciation or to love, romance, any response to beauty becomes more sensitive as Venus moves into Cancer and takes up residence there. And then at the same time, you might find that as Mercury moves out of Cancer and into Leo, you might find that you really want to speak out. You want to express yourself more. You've taken, this inspiration that you're getting from Venus moving into Cancer, and you want to maybe start creating something or making something or starting a new project of some kind.
Okay.
So there's this sense of shift. There's a shifting of modalities because the personal planets are changing signs. And then we have the sun at the end of the week on the 22nd also changing signs. So the sun is moving into Leo.
That's right. Yeah. Okay.
And the sun wants to express itself in Leo. And anyone who knows a Leo will know that that's their thing. They have an incredible presence.
Yeah.
They love to be acknowledged and seen. Yeah. And they're often, they have great ideas and they really are not afraid to shine.
Yeah.
So you have that sense of this time, things are coming out. People want to speak out. Yeah. People want to express themselves.
Yeah. Leo, of course, is the lion.
Yes. Leo, the lion.
Yeah.
Hear me roar. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
So on the 21st, this is Thursday now, you have the moon in Taurus conjunct Mars. So the moon is moving into Taurus, conjuncting Mars. As we start the week, Mars is at 8 degrees. And then as we move along into the week, by the 21st, we have Mars moving a little bit closer at 11 degrees of Taurus. So now Mars is within 7 degrees of Uranus, which is within 2 degrees of the North Node. So right around the 21st, 22nd, we should start to feel something around, I'm not sure if I could even predict, and that's not my job here, but there's something brewing, I guess, something brewing around what we care about, what we value, what we hold dear. Yeah. It could have to do with currency. It could have to do with the stock market. It could have to do with anywhere in your chart where Taurus is prominent.
Yes.
If you get your natal chart, go to astro.com and get your natal chart done. If you know your day and time, that's great. You can get an exact placement of where the house is that Taurus rules.
Yeah. And with the North Node there, how you want to move forward, what you want to take into the future with you.
Yes, exactly. Okay. Yeah. Where do you want to go with what you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And what you have.
Yeah.
There's this sense of this conjunction which is building. And it doesn't happen that frequently, but there is a periodicity to it. So I've been listening to some of the research that's been suggested for this particular conjunction when Mars conjuncts Uranus. And the last one was in 2007. When there was this incredible leap in technology.
Right.
The iPhone was introduced. Uranus is technology. It rules technology. It also rules astrology.
Yeah, right.
And Mars invigorates.
Yeah.
So there's a potential invigoration of all things astrological.
Yeah.
Also, all things technological, all things having to do with science, and also science that might be more on the metaphysical or looking at what we might not consider science, but we might consider kind of cutting edge.
Yeah, super progressive.
That's right. Like Tesla, for example.
Yeah, right.
Not the car and not the company,
right?
But the man.
The man, Nikola Tesla, right.
This incredible inventor. So these are the kinds of things that might come forward. And as the moon sweeps through here, this particular section of the zodiac on Thursday, the 21st, and then makes a conjunction to Mars, then the moon will make a conjunction to Uranus and then make a conjunction to the North Node
Right.
before the sun moves into Leo,
Yeah.
I think we might get a kind of a clue.
Yeah.
Or, something might be, some press release or some information, some news brief might be dropped.
Yes.
We might get a clue as to what this
Yes.
end of the month thing might look like, this triple conjunction.
Okay. That's exciting.
Yeah. And the last thing I want to mention is there's a fire trine.
Ooh.
Yeah. On Saturday, the 23rd, we have Mercury in Leo making a trine to Jupiter in Aries.
Okay.
So we start out this week with a dreamy quality on the 17th, and Mercury is in Cancer, and it's making these trines, and the sun is making these trines to Pisces. But then by the end of the week, Mercury's moved into Leo, wants to be much more expressive, trines Jupiter. So that's like big talk. Like that's like big expression. And with Jupiter in Aries, it's all about what I think. And what I think is the way to go, or the thing that, there's a lot of I in Leo and there's a lot of I in Aries. and I think you might get a lot of like, this is what I think.
Yeah.
So there's that potential, and it's fire. So there's emotion to it. People, they don't hold back,
This is so fabulous. It's just interesting that the week starts out in this water trine, and then we progress to this fire trine, and it just makes me think that we could use a little grounding this
absolutely.
week.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
if you're feeling swimmy or feeling fiery, you may just want to go out and get a little earth in you. Maybe lay down on the earth or take a walk or lean up against a tree and breathe, because it sounds like we can be swinging from some emotions this week.
Yeah. And I think that with the moon moving into those positions with the Taurus planets, Mars, Uranus, and the North Node, I think that would really be worth it, to ground that energy, because we might be able to get a better idea of what we're dealing with.
Right. Yeah. Well, it makes me this just popped in my head is like Tesla and lightning, which is one form of fire, which is not very grounded and can be very sparky. So just wanting to keep things grounded.
Yeah. And you pulled some cards too.
Yeah. Interesting. 2 cards wanted to come out. They wouldn't leave my fingers. They were stuck together and they're both in cups, which I think is interesting because we're talking about emotion. And it's interesting. There's the 7 of cups, which we'll put the link to it, of course, which is these 7 cups floating in this cloud. And each cup has a unique something coming out of it. And there's a figure that's just kind of staring at them. What is that they want to choose, which felt very Neptunian. We were talking about sort of these swimmy cups. And then at the end of the week, maybe the second card that came up was the 2 of cups, which literally has a winged lion floating above a caduceus, which is the symbol of Mercury. Mercury flies around with the caduceus. And these 2 figures are kind of bringing their cups together. You said you really liked the second card with the 2 of cups.
Oh, yeah. The 2 of cups is romance, and that caduceus is can be the kundalini, the fire energy. Yeah. So bringing those 2 cups together from the polarity of the male and the female can be, there can be sparks that happen. But I mean, there's a very thoughtful, the imagery on the Rider-Waite tarot deck is very traditional. Right. And it is based in astrology, and the imagery it's not so much rooted in metaphor, but there are the elements, there are the modalities embedded in the cards. There's symbols, every bit of those, of everything that is drawn on those cards is encoded. And intentional. Nothing's accidental. Like, oh, I'll just put a flower here just because I want to balance out the picture. There's nothing accidental. Right. So you can also look at what they're wearing. Yes. So in the 2 of cups, there's a figure in a white tunic with the sort of blue drape. And I would say, if you had to define one as feminine or one as masculine, she's got a wreath of laurels. She's on the left side of the card. And then the more masculine identifying figure is in this sort of flowery tunic with boots and has a red, maybe could be roses, or a little laurel of roses. And then in the background, way in the background on this little hill is this little cottage. And then between their cups is this caduceus symbol with this winged lion kind of shielding over them. So it's a very happy kind of
partnership, a coming togetherness.
Yeah, and the laurel wreath is a symbol of Apollo, and it was believed to have spiritual and physical cleansing qualities. And then the rose is also he's wearing is about the emotion, the qualities of emotion brought up to the crown, right? Brought up to the chakra of the head. So there's this elevation of these qualities of spiritual cleansing and emotional healing. And I think that's also what the caduceus is about. But both figures bring those two qualities together. Like one of them doesn't hold all of it.
Yeah.
Like each one of them has a piece of it. That card can also be about bringing pieces together,
right.
Like bringing emotional qualities together so that, and communicating with that caduceus, it's about communicating.
Yeah.
So that there is a more holistic understanding.
Maybe possibility for even larger self-expression when you bring two pieces together than just one. There's a balance. There's also a balanced sense too as well. Because it also sounds like with this aspect this week, especially at the end with Mercury trine Jupiter, that it can be a lot about I, me, but maybe having a more balanced sense of something.
Yeah, exactly. Bringing some coolness, some rationality to the emotional. So the Two of Cups is not like a wave your flag, run around and, The figures are facing each other and they're very they look very deliberate to me.
Yes.
That they're offering something to each other.
Yes.
And there's a sense that there's like an offer made.
Yeah.
There's something available. And I'm not talking about romantically, although that card has some of that to it. There may be, towards the end of the week, with all of what's happened from the full moon, true, deliberate, conscious meeting of the minds.
Yes. That's awesome. And we can probably just leave it there.
Sounds good.
Well, thanks everybody for tuning in this week. Don't forget to join us Monday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on WMPG.org 90.9 FM for our live call-in radio show. And you are more than welcome to call us in and have your questions answered, anything astrologically. And you can also send us an email at connect@sisterstargazers as we continue to unpack July.
Sounds like a good plan.
Have a good week, everyone.
Take care. Bye for now.
Thanks for listening to Sister Stargazers. Let us know what worked for you this week. Find us on Facebook and post a comment at Sister Stargazers.